The haunting silence of Sarawak's library. Imagine a refuge of peace and quiet, where every creak of the floorboards and every flutter of a book's pages carries an otherworldly weight. Libraries have always been a sanctuary for knowledge and tranquility, but what if one harbored something far darker? In a remote village in Sarawak, Malaysia, lies a library with a reputation far beyond its collection of books. Locals claim that it hides a sinister secret, a haunting tale that might cost some their sanity and others their lives. Nestled within the quiet greenery of Sarawak, the library stands as an unassuming beacon of knowledge. From the outside, it appears old and weathered, its cream-colored walls faded by years of rain and sun. Its tall windows often reflect the overhanging clouds, giving it an appearance both inviting and ominous. The library isn't just a destination for those craving knowledge or academic reference. Many locals flock here for peace, to escape their busy lives and find a unique solace in its silence. But among the community, there's always been a peculiar warning passed on in hushed whispers. Stay too long, and you'll learn more than you bargained for. Visitors have reported unease, a sensation of being watched, and events that leave their hearts racing long after they exit the building. Yet this hasn't stopped everyone. One young man named Hazik kept visiting, even when the silence began to smother him. Hazik was like many others in the village, quiet, reserved, and weighed down by life's pressures. For him, the library was a haven, its peaceful atmosphere offering an escape from his daily struggles. He visited often, retreating into the dimly lit aisles with their towering bookshelves. At first, the library seemed like the perfect sanctuary. The ambient silence was comforting, and the faint scent of aged paper was oddly soothing. Hazik began to feel at home in the countless aisles, losing himself in stories and academic texts. But soon, the silence became too much. It was no longer peaceful. It was oppressive, almost alive. It began subtly. While flipping through an old book, Hazik was startled by a soft creak behind him. Turning abruptly, he saw nothing, just the endless rows of books standing still in their solemn order. Then came the whispers, too faint to make out but undeniably present. They echoed down the aisles like voices trapped in the air between the shelves. Another evening, while exploring the history section, a book tumbled from a high shelf without warning. Its pages fluttered as it fell with a loud thud, breaking the unbearable silence. Hazik carefully picked it up, his heart pounding, only to see an old handwritten note wedged between its pages. The ink had run with age, making the words unreadable, but the eerie reality of it chilled him to the bone. Hazik tried to rationalize everything. Perhaps the book was precariously placed. Perhaps he imagined the whispers. And yet, the feeling of being watched grew stronger with every visit, like unseen eyes lurking behind the bookshelves. Curiosity soon got the better of him. He began asking the villagers about the library and any explanation for the strange occurrences. At first, they hesitated. Many dismissed his questions, their faces clouding with unease. Finally, one elderly villager, eyes hollow with memories, relented. He spoke of a tragic past. Decades ago, the library had been maintained by a quiet but compassionate librarian who loved the building dearly. One night, she vanished without a trace. Some believe she got lost in the then thicker jungle that surrounded the village. Visitors over the years claim to have seen her shadow between the shelves or to encounter the icy breath of something alive yet unseen. Every story ended the same way. Those who stayed too long never looked at the world the same again. Some even refused to speak of what they experienced. Hazik felt a chill crawl down his spine, but his curiosity only deepened. Determined to find answers, Hazik began spending late evenings in the library, determined to uncover whatever truth lingered in its shadows. Armed with a flashlight and notebook, he buried himself in newspapers and local records stored in the archives. There, he discovered accounts of strange events spanning decades, abandoned shoes found in the aisles, objects moving on their own, and witnesses hearing whispers of their own name called out from the darkness. Haziq even found a police report about the librarian's disappearance, though it was unsettlingly vague, offering no clues as to what had truly happened. The more he unearthed, the more the incidents escalated. One night, as he delved through documents, the lights overhead flickered before plunging him into complete darkness. Then he heard it, footsteps in the distance. They were slow but deliberate, moving closer with every second. "Hello?" he called out weakly. No response. His flashlight whipped toward the sound, revealing empty aisles, but the footsteps didn't stop. It was on his final visit that Haziq's resolve shattered. Alone in the library's farthest corner, he felt the temperature drop suddenly, as though he'd stepped into a freezing void. Whispers rose around him, no longer faint murmurs but a cacophony of chilling voices overlapping in an unbearable symphony. The air thickened, and the faint outline of a figure emerged between the shelves, a shadowy presence darker than the surrounding gloom. It didn't walk, it drifted toward him, its movements unnatural and wrong. Haziq froze as its gaze, though featureless, locked on him, filling him with an unimaginable dread. Images flashed through his mind: the librarian's distorted face, the blood-red flicker of events from the past, and a suffocating darkness pulling him in. The truth hit him harder than he could have prepared for. The librarian wasn't lost in the jungle. She had become the library's prisoner, an entity sustained by its walls, forever tethered to her duty. The figure lunged. Haziq staggered back, dropping his flashlight. With every ounce of his strength, he bolted, weaving through the aisles as books flew from the shelves around him. The whispers turned to screams as the entity chased him, its presence closing in like a suffocating fog. Bursting through the library doors, Haziq collapsed onto the dirt outside, gasping for air. The chilling screams ceased as soon as he escaped the building. The oppressive quiet of the village returned, though he knew he would never feel safe again. That night, he swore never to return, but the library's darkness had marked him. His dreams were filled with shadowy figures and unsettling whispers, a constant reminder of what he'd seen. In the light of day, he found himself glancing over his shoulder, expecting those same footsteps to catch up to him. The library still stands, its doors open to anyone brave or foolish enough to visit. Some say the shadowy figure lingers in the darkest corners, waiting for the next curious soul who stays just a little too long. Would you dare visit this library and risk uncovering its terrifying secrets? Or will you, like Haziq, choose to steer clear of a place where silence isn't peace, but a warning of something far worse? Perhaps the next time you enter a library, you'll listen closely to its whispers, and perhaps you'll realize that some silence is meant to hide the screams of the past.